You know those moments when you know you have to do something to create, but you keep drawing a blank. The whole world around you keeps moving, but you feel stuck. You keep hitting a wall again and again. Because sometimes creativity can feel like a curse. Because you have so many ideas growing through your head that you have no idea where to even begin. That blank page seems endless, and the idea of marking it seems terrifying. It's not the lack of passion, but the lack of clarity that prevents us from starting, whether it's a new habit or a new project. So I recently picked up this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear, and it's given me a lot of clarity around some of the subconscious actions I had done to just start. And so I thought I'd share with you 3 key highlights or lessons that I've taken from this book. So lesson number 1 is to stop thinking of goals in isolation, but rather develop systems. What happens with goals is, with a goal, it inevitably creates a win or lose situation. Either you achieve the goal or you don't. Whereas by developing systems, it allows you to create the behavior over time to ensure that in the long run, you do meet your goals. But the system allows you to do that. And the fact is, behind every system is a belief. Because what we believe about ourselves directly affects how we behave and then who we become. And so there is this aspect of belief and identity. And so in order for us to truly change our behavior and truly shift our habits, we need to identify with the thing or the person that we want to eventually become. So for instance, if I want to become an illustrator, then I need to identify myself as an illustrator and stop thinking of myself as just a creative or just somebody who draws. By shifting that perspective to, okay, I now identify myself as an illustrator, and then gauging this question every time you're put in a situation where you need to make a decision, by asking yourself, okay, what behavior or disciplines do they put into place in order to build a profession as an illustrator? So for instance, it might be as simple as illustrators draw every day to ensure that their skills and their practice are up to date. And so I therefore need to develop a system where I create a habit of drawing every day to become the thing I hope to identify with. And you'll see this across every type of behavior, whether it is I want to become a runner, so I identify myself with that group, and then I create habits to become a part of that group. I need to change my behavior to mimic the identity of the person I want to become. Lesson number 2 is environment. Because we are all products of our environment, whether it's conscious or subconscious. So in order for us to develop a habit and make it attractive, we need to create the environment that fosters or attracts that habit. So for instance, if I want to become more creative, if I want to produce more creative work, I need to create an environment where I'm surrounded by things and people who inspire me to be more creative. So that might be through the books, through the art that I surround my environment with. And number 3 is not to be discouraged when you don't see change immediately, because behavior happens over time incrementally. So there is a time factor deeply integrated with behavior. And so in order to create behaviors that will last a lifetime, we need to start small. To start with what we can do, and that is easy to do, and that feels achievable. So if you've never had a drawing habit, it's not a good idea to set yourself a time period of 1 hour, because that would feel enormous. Whereas if we start with something as simple as every day I'm going to draw for 5 minutes, it suddenly feels a lot more achievable. So set yourself small habits. The second thing you can do is stacking, where you stack habits on top of each other. So you already have existing habits. So for instance, every day at 7 o'clock, I drink tea. And so I could say I am going to stack my habit with the tea drinking. So every day after I drink my tea, I will draw for 5 minutes. And do yourself the favor of also being very clear about when, where, and how you're going to do it. So every day at 7 p.m. after I drink my tea, I'm going to draw for 5 minutes in my home office. Okay, so now you got place, location, thing you're going to do, and also create a list of potential things you want to draw. So now, rather than spending all your time thinking about what you should be drawing in those 5 minutes, you already have a list that you can follow through. So for instance, look up one of the old Inktober prompt lists and use that as a way to start. So these are the 3 lessons that I picked up from Atomic Habits by James Clear. Number 1 is develop systems, not goals. And your systems are linked to your belief, and your belief is linked to your identity. So by identifying who or what you aspire to become will clarify your path to developing your system. Number 2 was develop an environment that encourages the habit you hope to foster. And number 3 is this will happen over time incrementally. So factor that into your long-term goal and ensure that your habits are done in small bite-sized chunks until you become comfortable with that, and then slowly increase it. Over time, these habits will become a part of your lifestyle. In the end, make you much more productive and ensure that your work has an impact. That's it from me. Be true, be you, stay fruitful.
Thanks for watching!